former Senate President, our Ambassador, our Consul General Ben, and my dear sister that is doing a lot of wonderful work. Let me stand on all due and existing protocols. Mine was, I think it's not made simple because all the speakers have said everything that I need to say. It's just to summarize what they've said and everything. And I agree with them and disagree with them in some areas. I'll start by agreeing with the pastor. When you go to church, your conversation is between you and God, not the pastor. The pastor is just a figure. Just ignore him. I have had problems with so many pastors and priests and everybody, especially when I go to church and they want to turn it into a luncheon. And I'll tell them, the day of luncheon, invite me. Today is for prayers. And I've come here to pray, not turn it into a church. And I agree with the Senate President when he talked about the issue of creating an enabling environment. The conversation here is that, why do I want to participate in this? For me, this is not about bringing back or attracting foreign investors. I don't believe in foreign investors. I said any day I have opportunity, when I was in office, every country, the first people you need to attract is the local investors. Once the local investors are making profit and doing well and things are booming, the foreign one will come. If they are conducive. So you are a local investor, you're not even foreign. It's your country. Other people have built their country. So the conversation will always revolve around telling ourselves the truth. How do we build our country? How do we make it work? And you are a major part of this building. When the Senate President talks about building an enabling environment, he was being diplomatic because he didn't want to say it, that there's a problem already because there's a foundation. I spoke to my dear sister outside and I said to her, well, listen, and I'm very happy that people in government are here because it's wonderful. Ordinarily, that shows their commitment, and I must thank you, Ambassador, Consul General, our dear sister. Why am I thanking you? Usually what you get is that you go to a conference, the people in government stay for a few minutes and walk away. And you've been here since morning. That means you're serious and you want to, be able to convert something back home. For you that are here, and my own advice is that when you see government people here or people like me who are politicians, tell us what you want home. So we can go and implement it and you can come back. Because unless it is conducive, your investment won't work. As people were talking, I was speaking to people individually to know how they feel about what is being said, to know whether they will invest money. There's still some who are saying it with a sense of, Then I said, why don't you say what you want? Why don't you tell us what is happening? And the question is very simple. If people talk about foreign investment and foreign direct investment, you are a key plank to, if you listen to presentation of Igadelo, very good company, first class company. I like when they tell you that if you need a lawyer, they're very good, I can recommend them. But at the end of the day, it's for us to look at it, why are you not home? Why is the money not flowing home? The Chinese are doing it in their country. The Indians are doing it in their country. Every other person is doing it. Every country, Vietnamese, everywhere. Why are Nigerians not doing it? Because there's a problem. There's nothing wrong with Nigeria. It's a country that is so good. Lovely place, good weather, everything. The only thing that is wrong in Nigeria is people like me. The leadership is wrong. Period. And that's why we are not attracting the FDI we need. She has all the power to do what you want her to do. But let me tell you, she has a limited power. Those who will stop her are people like me, the politicians that I voted in. If she was in charge and seeing you, she would do it differently. Because she understands your power. You are more important to Nigeria, the diaspora, than any other thing. Our oil income is $18 billion. Non-oil income is $13.4 billion. You are giving us $26 billion. In fact, this year's budget of Nigeria is $30 billion, and you are bringing 26. So you can see that you can compare two of them. You can see there's nothing, so it's critical. And I agree when Senior President said to you, don't compare us with here. Your country have problems. Don't see it compared with other countries of the world. You go to India, you go to China, you go to everywhere. That is what you need to compare us with. Don't compare us with America. Not because you're in America, you're in first world. Indians and Chinese and other people that went back and rebuilt their country did not compare themselves with here. If you compare us with here, you feel very bad because you say there's no road, there's no water, there's no this. Other people are fixing their place, so we can go back and fix it. But there's the other things that somebody just said to me, oh, what is happening? I said, no, don't compare us. Florida alone has a GDP of $820 billion. That's twice Nigerian GDP with a per capita of $43,000. A per capita in Nigeria is $1,980. So don't compare us with here. Let's compare us with the people we are supposed to be competing with. And those people are there, and it is possible to do it. But let us look at the foreign direct investment in the past 1 year in Nigeria had gone down. And I need to ask ourselves why. Nigeria used to be the leading foreign direct investment, but in 2018, we're surpassed by about 6 countries in Africa. And that is why. I just used 3 of them to show you, or even 4. Let me add Ghana, that is in West Africa. Egypt got $7.9 billion. South Africa, $5.3 billion. And Morocco, 3.6. These 3 countries, if you put their population, Egypt at 97, South Africa at 58, and Morocco at 35, is 190 million in population, and we're 200. And 3 of them attracted $17 billion, and that year we attracted only 1.9 billion. So we didn't even make 20% of what they attracted, and we have more population. If you add Ghana, that is about 30 billion, Ghana surpassed us. Ghana attracted 3.5, and they just 30 million, and we had 1.9. So it is for us to also discuss what is the missing link, because we need this investment badly. And I can tell you, of all the things that are wrong, Nigeria remains the biggest market, but there are things we need to change. Those things we are going to change is what you require. They are number 1, security. Any investor has to be sure that he can go in and come out safely. Nobody wants to invest his money if you're not sure you're going to come out safely, because you want to be alive to enjoy the profit. Otherwise, you will not go. I used to live like you. I used to live like you as a foreigner before I went back to Nigeria. I lived in the UK, and I had a partner, you hear me say it every day, who was very rich and doing very well and extremely well. He had about 10-15 million pounds invested in the UK, and they were paying him 2%. And I was the chairman of a bank in Nigeria, and I said to him, Mr. Hardin, I will pay you 10%. Why don't you give me, since you have 10 million pounds in a fixed deposit. Give me the next 2, since they're paying you 2%, which is just 200,000. Give me just 2, and I'll pay you 10, which is another 200. And he said, we'll have a meeting for it. Don't have a meeting. After our meeting, I'll have a lunch. He said to me, Peter, let me tell you, this 2% comes with peace of mind. I planned my life to live with this 2% for the rest of my life. That is an investor. Investors must have peace. Somebody in this hall told me today how the wife invested 70 million naira and the money got missing. That is the second thing I'm going to say. You have to invest where the records to the rule of law. So if I invest my money, anything goes wrong, I can seek. Period. If there's not, you're not going to put your money. These are issues. I have to invest where there's the country itself. There's a lot the country needs to do itself to be able to propel you to come back and invest. And these are some of the things. Why am I saying this? These are some of the things I want my sister to hear from you. In combination, these are what of government to hear. In combination, when they go back, including me, we say, listen, we have enough of our people that wants to invest. I went to a doctor to do a surgery in the UK, which I went by default. When the doctor walked in, his name was Ayo. He's from Ondo. And when I said, oh, what I did wasn't going well, they said I have to see a correctional doctor, whatever it is called. And his name was Obi NABF. And they told me that in this UK, you cannot go into any field of medicine and get 10 without having at least 2 Nigerians. These are Nigerians. All of them wants to go back. I saw it in the banking industry. I saw it in everything, in every area. They want to go back. But when you talk to them silently one-on-one, they tell you some of these fears are expressed. Security. Somebody, a medical doctor told me, as senior president today, that he cannot come back because of kidnapping. No, that he cannot. That whenever he's there, he's doing for. That he cannot. So this is a Nigerian gathering. The opportunities are enormous. Because you can't talk about countries today. Countries today are not propelled by natural resources. All of you know that. It is by people. The more populated you are, that's your assets. If you educate them, which is the next thing I'm going to, you have been able to create anything. As the world is moving from you can call industrial here or baggage economy to knowledge economy, you can see that we have the population. But government need to do a lot. They need to invest in those people by ensuring that they're educated. Today, you have a crisis of having people who are not educated. There are even areas where you can go in and help and offer your services. I recall somebody saying here that you can actually go and teach and do some. There are areas where you can go and help to improve. As we improve it, you're going to get the workforce and people that you can do that partnership with. Because right now, the partnership is not as easy as you think. If you want to try that partnership, you go and see a trained dog and go and bring a dog in your village and put 2 of them together and you experience what that partnership will be. That's exactly what it is. We have people who are doing well. I am involved. I heard once somebody was talking about Fidelity Bank, and I thank you for advertising Fidelity Bank. I happen to be part of Fidelity Bank. I was the chairman of that institution. The banks and everything in Nigeria are doing well. But we need to do a lot of work in the country. You need to support, because you have ideas. What the Indians did, I lived a lot with Indians and Pakistanis. I met them in school. Some of you who have been in sophisticated schools here knows that the highest number of people you see in schools are Indians, Pakistanis, the Iranians, and all that. I met them in Oxford. I met them in Cambridge. They went back. But what they did, we are not doing that. They insisted in creating that enabling environment that the senior president spoke about. They became part of the political process. If you get everything right and your politics wrong, everything is wrong. Because one, they develop policies that are poor and they don't implement them. So you can have the best of policies about Nigeria. You can have the best of policies of everywhere, but it can't implement them. So if a guy from here, all the foreigners that I know that are from India, Pakistanis and everything, are investing in their country. How do they invest? They invest through stock markets. They invest through partnerships that you said. Those partnerships are structured. Today, because government is over-involving itself in Nigeria, your stock market is very shallow. The entire Nigerian stock market is valued for less than $40 billion. The second biggest economy in Africa is South Africa. The stock market is valued for $950 billion. Because government is still over-involving themselves in what they should not involve themselves with. You that wants to compare Nigeria and every other person. If you go to Tampa here, who owns the airport in Tampa? It's the local government. As big as Atlanta is, the biggest airport in the world is owned by Atlanta City. So it's the JFK, it's owned by New York City. So government is still not, these are things they were privatized and anybody can get involved. You create more opportunities. We're talking about power generation and everything. They need to open it up and get people to invest in it properly. All the countries that we're supposed to be compared with, and where your investment, where we need your critical investment, is in those areas. It's not actually coming to open up supermarket. No. Your investment, the investment that change, whether it's India, whether it's China, whether it's in critical areas. Not in coming to form a partnership to build a shop with your uncle. We have enough people who can run shops. It is these critical areas that we want you to come and partner. Yes, not to come and start a corner shop. People who sell corner shops all over the place. We want you to come and invest in critical areas. I know somebody who is from China. I know somebody who is from India, who have stayed in England where they are and bought shares in companies in China, and it's growing. I know somebody who bought shares when Alibaba was starting in China. He paid about $2 million. Today, the value of his shares is over $150 million. So he's there, he's investing there. Those which shares are you going to buy in Nigeria? Those who bought. I don't so. You need to open up the market, and government has not opened the place where it's private sector driven. And it's very easy to know. How is it happening? Today, the government debt in Nigeria is 28 trillion naira. The private debts, no, I'm just telling you to know that government is over. The private debt is 16. Whenever you see government debts higher than private debts, that means government is doing what the private sector will do. And government is not efficient. That's why we talk about corruption. If you push everything private sector is supposed to do like power, there's no reason why in the past 15 years we cannot generate more than 4,000 megawatts. It's because government is still involved in it. If it is here, who generates power here? It's a private company. People buy shares in it. Who manages the airport? It's a private company. If I look at Lagos, we've been talking about doing Lagos-Ibadan road since I came to Lagos over 29 years ago. If, very simple, I'm not saying this, very simple, that is where your money should have gone in. Because if it was a private company doing that road, they can do it within 5 years. And you invest in it. So you won't be looking for your money. It's very easy to invest in it. That is what you need to invest your money in. And because of it, you could see, I was in a meeting in the UK. I serve on the board of one of the advisory councils of a multinational in the UK. And I was in a board meeting just 2 days ago. And I see a Ghanaian talking with all sense of come to Ghana and everything. And when he finished, I had to tell him that, well, listen, Ghana is only a route to Nigeria. But I could see what he's talking. It was very clear. Because if you look at what Ghana is doing, in 2015, just compared with us, Ghana GDP is just $37 billion. And their per capita is 1,350. In 2019, Ghana GDP is 64 billion and per capita is 2,200. In our own in 2015, it was 480 and our per capita was 2,500. Today is 397 and per capita at 1,920. So it's gone the other way around. So Ghana can now tell you, oh, well, wait a minute. So what we need to do, you have a lot of, I see people here talking about ICT and everything. In this time, all we need to do is to, as we look and talk about the investment into Nigeria, I continue to tell you, it's the biggest market. The opportunities there are phenomenal, not small. But to unlock it, you need to also unlock the roadblocks. You need to make sure the roadblocks, we need to have the political class. You know, when we talk about leadership in Nigeria, people think it's just the president or governor or this. The political class don't understand, needs to be unlocked. Today we have a situation where the political class don't even know we're in Formula 1 competition. Nobody is waiting for us. We need to open up the place. We need to look at what are the other people doing. When we were to this thing, we have 98 million people that are living under poverty. And it's growing. And these are people that if we do the right investment, we put them out of poverty. The more they come out of poverty, the more aggressive, the more prosperous the country is going. But to put them out of poverty is your investment. It is our investment, but we need to unlock where do we invest this money? Where is it going to go in? And it's very easy, it's not rocket science. In the year 2000, China had 500 million people, over 500 million people living under poverty. Between 2000 and now, they've been able to pull over 450 out of poverty. So it's not rocket science. What did China do that we cannot do? Nothing. They just started to implement a strict, properly articulated agenda. and everybody is following it strictly. India in 2012 had 276 million people living under poverty. Now they have less than 70. So Nigeria have more people living under poverty than these two countries combined. And China is 1,350,000,000 and India is 1.4 billion. There's no reason. What they did is not rocket science. It's something we can do easily. India today exports a lot of ICT. Everybody knows that the knowledge drives everywhere. We're still based on how we're going to share oil money. When the world have moved away from oil, we earn 18 billion naira in oil. $18 billion in oil in 2018. 2019 it was 18 billion. Facebook revenue is $70 billion in the same year. We didn't even make 30% of their revenue. That shows how, and that is for everybody, 200 million. It is not up to a quarter of Facebook's revenue. So we need to change it. And how are we going to change it? Is you. You are going to come in to help to show a new direction for people to understand that today government have not enough revenue to do what they are supposed to do. And government is every day complaining, no revenue, no revenue, no revenue. The tax to GDP, they will tell you is low. But the only way to create tax to GDP to be high is to pull people out of poverty and employ them. You can't tax poor people, can you? No, they don't have money to give you because they don't have a job. And you can change that. How are you going to change it? That's the enabling environment that is the senior president preached. Luckily, you have a driver of diaspora who is prepared to get on and work with you. These things are not rocket science. I can tell you virtually every country that have changed didn't change from everywhere. I tell people whenever I have to do is I said, I don't compare Nigeria with Dubai or Singapore. These are tiny countries. Whatever they've done is the magic that anybody can do. But then there's big countries that are doing the same thing. Vietnam, for example. You can see what is happening in Vietnam. We earned $18 billion from oil. Vietnam earned $22 billion from exporting footwears. They earn more from exporting phone and every other thing, $100 billion. And it's not rocket science. And these are countries in 2010 when we had a per capita of 2,000 plus. Vietnam was 1,300. Today they are 2,005 and 1,009. So there must be something wrong. What did they do? Simple thing. They changed their political leadership. They changed their laws. They changed everything. So if I'm coming to invest in Vietnam, I'm sure I will take my money out. I'm sure if anything happens, I can complain to somebody and get my money. So it's not a question of this. Nigeria, even when we talk about corruption, I always said corruption is because we decided to create the toll gate. 90% of what is happening in Nigeria, government should not be involved. If government is not involved, where are you going to get the money to steal? Period. If government is not, if they give you an airport, if they say Nigerian American Business Council, go and build Murtala Mohammed Airport today and run it and everything, you're not going to give anybody one kobo. Because you're going to borrow the money. But that will not happen. P2B will want to award the contract, so you will eat the money that's in it. That is why government is involved in it. Government is not involved in most transactions here, whether it's real, whether it's anything. These are private sector driven. And unless you push it to private sector, your money comes in, because when Igelolo was saying about your 23 billion, let me tell you, if it's well structured, you can attract 3 times that. The only thing you're saying, out of that 26 billion, which you're bringing today, let me tell you, 70% of it is, you're just bringing money to feed hungry people at home. If you don't know, when you pay money into an account, and it hits a bank account, within 2 days of hitting bank account is withdrawn. That shows the money is for feeding. It's not for investment. Because I've heard people say, oh, things are going well in Nigeria. Every Nigerian have a phone. 90% of people who have phone in the village is to enable them to beg money for feeding. So they send you texts. They tell you people who are sick. They tell you people who are this. They're not doing it for investment. It's just to communicate with you, to tell you how bad the things are, for you to send money. And when you send the money, they withdraw it. That's what happens. But if things are well structured, where you can buy, why will a Nigerian be here investing in here? This is a matured market. The margins are not there. The margins should be in Africa. So if I buy shares in a bank in Africa and it increases by 10% year on year, they pay good dividend, there's no problem. I want to do more. You want to put a fixed deposit and know what you're doing. I know people who put fixed deposit at 10% in 2019. 2020, they said the percentage is no longer there, it's 2%. I'm sure it's happened to some of you. That is not a structured economy. Things don't go up and down like that. These are what we need to fix. Because if you go and you live here with Pakistanis and Indians and Chinese, they are sending money home. Because when they invest it in stocks, in their economy, in productive sector, they see the profit. You are not running the charity. I heard somebody say to you, oh, come and invest, even if you don't make profit. It is not true. Not even the church that everybody runs. Even the church, they stop and collect money. So they don't run the church on prayers, do they? No. The pastor collects money after some time. Have any of you been at any church where they close and say everybody go home without collecting money? So not even the church. The pastor collects money. So I don't want you to invest where you will not make money. I want you to invest where you will make money. So in your communique, like I said, everybody has spoken what I need to say. That's why I'm just summarizing. In your communique, what I want you to do is to be able to look back and say, well, listen, let's compare ourselves with different economies. Let the government look, why are they not making enough budget? There must be something wrong. It's not a rocket science. We are supposed to be compared with Brazil. These are countries we are being compared with in year 2000, year 2001. Brazil, we're being compared with Russia, we're being compared with South Africa, with China, by the year 2000. So it's not even, I don't want to go back to 1980 and everything. These are companies, now we're being compared to the mint nations, Mexico, Indonesia, and everything. Why are their budget different? Our budget as a country today is $30 billion. $30 billion. Out of which we're going to finance use about a third of it to service debt. So our effective budget is $20 billion. For a country of 200 million people? No. Brazil, with 210 million people, last year, their budget is $800 billion. 210 million, and there are 200, we are budgeting 20. Even the budget of Florida here is 70 billion. And Florida is 21.2 million. So we have a crisis. And why is that crisis possible? Because government is involving itself in what is not supposed to involve itself into. You need to open it up. And why is government holding back to those things? That is corruption. Because they want to be involved in what is the minister or commissioner wants to run around the airport, controlling who goes in and out of the airport. It's not his business. He should be a regulator and stay in his office and let those who know how to run an airport run an airport. The same thing goes with power. There's companies all over the world that want to generate power. There's regulations. We have medical doctors that are doing very well, who are prepared to come back and build first-class hospital. But you have to also put laws in place. Why will Peter Obi, as governor of Anambra State, use Anambra State money to go and cure himself in London? It shouldn't be. Then first and foremost, we have to have a law that he has to start curing himself from Anambra State until doctors there recommend that he goes overseas. But this one, he goes on his own without any recommendation locally. You cannot remove a secretary from India to come to America here without first curing himself at the point of death in India. It doesn't happen anywhere. Just like borrowing. I can borrow any amount of money. If you borrow money in Singapore, it's written law. It must be for investment that will pay itself back. So if we have all those things, where we're talking about government officials, there's a regulation, there's a law. In India, you cannot be a secretary. Secretary is the equivalent of a governor and buy a foreign car. No. You must use car that is made in India. I was there, was the governor, to meet the man who is in charge of the state that controls Bombay. He was using Tata. As governor, I can buy anything I want. That is why we are debating whether we're using nothing or not. No. Local patronage for companies that are there doing well. Somebody asked me about Innocent not being here. Leo asked me, I said, Innocent, he don't really credit Innocent to go to conferences. He's an amazing man. Here is somebody who started by assembling bicycle, from assembling bicycle to assembling motorcycle, and then assembling vehicle. He didn't have the privilege of, I see you talking about University of Ifa, University of Nigeria, and this is, Innocent never had the privilege of going to any secondary school. But when you talk with him, you could see the ingenuity that is in somebody who is doing this. But what are supposed to get in? Finally, is the issue of government supporting small businesses in Nigeria. Small businesses drive the engine of any economy. Today we have two people commented it here, that your investment will drive unemployment, help to deal with the issue of unemployment. In Nigeria, we have 22 million young people in their productive age doing nothing. And that is part of, it's concomitant with what you're seeing, whether it's insecurity and everything. How was other countries able to solve them? By supporting small businesses. In America, as big as it is, small businesses say control at least 50% of your GDP. And how do they fund it? Small businesses are giving grants. I was in the UK, I had a small business. Without knowing where I came from, they gave me grant. They didn't know where I came from, they gave me grant. Government supported me. I walked into the bank even gave me loan. After government have given me free grant to support me. That's what we need to do. Small businesses propel businesses everywhere. If you go to Indonesia, go to Brazil, go to everywhere, they control 90% of the business. In China alone, small businesses control 92% of the companies. 65% of the industrial output and export is from small businesses. And they create about 60% of the employment. 80 million people are employed in China. And they provide 480. That is twice the Nigerian population. So it's not a rocket science. We can do the same thing at home. But it needs government to support them. All the policies you have, whether it's double taxation, whether it's local government chairman want to stop everything, are aimed at impoverishing the small businesses. These are things we need to open up. And why is it happening? Because government is still being run and controlling everything. You need government to free up the space. So if I have a business of road construction, which has nothing to do with government because they have been concession to me, people pay toll everywhere in the world. There's nothing wrong in paying toll. Tolls are paid everywhere in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and China. Even in Dubai, there are people give reference. Every 90% of the roads that are in Dubai is tolled. The only thing is because they don't have toll gates. They now have, with the sophistication of ICT now, you can now toll a road without people knowing it's tolled because you're being taxed as you pass through them. So you don't need to put a gate in the, no, everybody wants to pay toll and drive on a good road. People want to see light and pay the bill. The reason why is that if people don't want to pay the big bill in Nigeria, they've not seen the light. They want to see the light first and they pay for it. If you give people good services, they'll pay for it. So these are things that if government is not involved, small businesses will know that if they supply equipment or chippings to somebody who has been given contract to do roads, they will be paid. Because right now, you supply something to government, payment becomes a problem. So many businesses have collapsed. People have died. I know so many people who have had that because government did not pay them. So I can tell you that focus on being part of Nigeria. That's where you're going to make the real money. That's where you're going to build your families. The monies you're going to make there will help you to do whatever you want to do. But you also have to focus on being part of building that enabling environment. That enabling environment is that the right people needs to be involved. If ABK is one doing the right thing, we cannot support her to go further and go into government and do what he's doing from outside. Because if he stays outside and have somebody like B2B who doesn't know what is happening to be controlling what he's doing, he will never work. He can tell you all the nice things that come back, I'll clear everything for you. But when it comes to collecting your money, she won't be the one going to collect the money. And you have somebody in office who gives you all sorts of conditions. Because those toll gates are deliberately created to do what? To create corruption. So when people say corruption, I've been in government. It's a very easy thing. I always use what happens in education to give people an example. You have UBEC as the center. You have UBEC in state. Have UBEC in local government. These are toll gates. In Ghana, Uganda, and everything, money moves straight from federal government to the school. Everybody knows where the school is. Why are you putting to this man, to this man, to this man? These are toll gates that shortens the money by the time he gets to his destination. You can put it direct. The same thing goes with what you're doing. So I urge you as a body, focus on Nigeria. Focus on Nigeria. But what you should be doing is also be in all your communique, coming up to advise the government on what they can do for you to come back and participate in turning around the economy. Don't just say, oh, stay here and say, oh, we're going to put our money. No. I will not be one of those telling you, if I have somebody who is here, I won't tell him to just come and put your money in hands of your uncle who might even die. He wouldn't even know where he put the money. I've seen people who have sent money. By the time the money arrives, the uncle has died. And nobody can take the money back because the uncle doesn't have a system. You can't even prove you gave him the money. But if you have a well-structured companies that are well-structured, investments that are well-structured, our stock market today should be at least, like I said, it should be at least worth over 100 billion. All the companies, all the countries you can compare us with, we are the biggest economy in Africa. Senior President told us. How come the second biggest country, which is South Africa, their stock market is 900 billion and we're 40? Number 3 is Egypt, it's over 200 billion and we're 40. Other small countries like Pakistan, in Singapore, Mexico, Indonesia, everybody is over 300 billion. Because if you go to them, you can buy shares, you can do this in corporate industries. And those industries are the ones that are doing construction and everything. And you can look at their budget. Everywhere you can make money in Nigeria, but the system has to work. If you go today, in education alone, the investment government is doing is low. Everybody knows that the more you invest in education, the better your economy. Especially today that education drives everything. But what's our investment in education? Our investment in education in the past 10 years is only 4.4 trillion naira, $14 billion. In health is 2.7 trillion, about $9 billion. Two of them combined is how much? It's just about 23 billion, which you put it in any other country. We always compare ourselves with South Africa. South Africa in 1 year spent more than we spend in 10 years in education. $17 billion. And we spent 14 in 10 years. And we are 200 million, they're 58. So we need, but why is that? Because most of the education facilities is driven by private sector. If you want to go to university in South Africa, half of the schools are run the way schools are run here. In Nigeria, government is holding to everything. Every professor must be paid by government. How many professors here? Is there 2 professors that earn 1 salary in America? No, if you're teaching in Harvard, you earn more than somebody who is in A&M University. Because the system has been created. And that is what we need. Somebody talking about system and processes here. Those system and processes needs to come back. If we do it rightly, because Nigeria have a lot of energy, go to universities here, you'll be shocked how many Nigerians are professors. We need to go back. That's what happened in China. The professors went back to school to teach in their place. That's what happened in India. The professors went back. The professors here needs to go back. They need to come back and teach in Nigeria. But we need to create schools and avenues and places where they will come back to. It's not just for you to come and invest and stay here. You want to come back and run those companies. We want you to come back and run it. Companies that are being run in China are being run by people who returned. Not just to be here and give it to your uncle. Your uncle doesn't have the knowledge you have. Your sister doesn't have the knowledge you have. So you need to come back and run that business. And you can't come back unless an enabling environment is created there. And that is what you need to do. If you come back and things are done properly, you could see that country grow. Our GDP today, to tell you how it is low. Like I said, compared with our peers, our budget is low. Imagine today, if GDP of Nigeria becomes 800 billion, and our per capita is 4,000, everybody, all these things you see will disappear. Is it possible? With effortless ease. It's been done in different countries. I can show you country after country. If Vietnam can double their own in 5 years, we can do the same thing. If China can do it, we can do it. If India can do it, India just said, look at what China is doing. We can no longer stay and watch them. And India is now focused at, within the past 3 years, you need to see how phenomenal they are doing in India. Look at their GDP growth. Look at they've been running at over 6%. And look at their per capita growth. Look at everything they've been able to do. So my dear people, let us collectively resolve that we will be part of creating enabling environments, be part of bringing that change by supporting these people that are in government that are going to help us to do what? To make sure that the right drivers of this competition we are in, you know, in Formula 1 you have your own team of drivers. So we need to change, make sure that we have the correct team of drivers. Otherwise, it will be like somebody living in Lagos having a Molue drivers driving Formula 1 vehicle. I don't need to tell you where it's going to end. Thank you and God bless you.